Saturday, Bishop David and I usually talk. We usually talk through texting because it's a lot easier today. If you just want to say a few words, fine. And if you want to say a lot, then you're a quick typist. And I say to him, usually every Saturday, I'm praying for rain tomorrow. He says to me, why are you praying for rain tomorrow? I said, because we get bigger crowds when it rains. When it's a beach day, forget it, hang it up. But in today's gospel, well, during in all of John's gospels, we hear a lot of I am sayings, don't we? I am this. I am the bread of life. We've heard that. Jesus says that. I am the light of the world. Last week, I am the sheep. I am the gate for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. The week before, the good shepherd gives life for his sheep. And on Easter, I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And today, I am the true vine. This is an allegorical story, which means that there's meaning everywhere throughout the story. So we can't miss one of the things that Jesus says. And he gives us a picture of something that the Israelites of his day were really familiar with. We're not. When we hear about a vine, what do we know about a vine? The only thing I know about a vine is a good Pinot or a good Chardonnay. That's about it for me. But it's to grow grapes. I know nothing at all about it. But my grandfather did. I can tell you that, because when I was a kid, I used to hit his, he had barrels in the cellar. And he was French, and he was taught by a Portuguese man how to make wine. And my cousin Wayne and I would go down there, and we had no cup, but what he would do is lay on the ground, and I would open the spigot, and he would have a drink, and then I would have a turn. But my cousin always used to fool me. He'd put it on high, and I would get splashed with it, and then my mother would say, "Where have you been?" I was loaded with wine. I smelled like a wino at 5 or 6. But my grandfather knew an awful lot about grapes and vines. Kids today, and maybe even some of us here, don't even know all that much about tomato plants, for that matter, or gardening at all. So sometimes the words of Jesus, I'm the good shepherd, we're like, all right, but what do we know about sheep? We know really nothing. But in Jesus' time, they knew everything about sheep. They had to. Everyone raised sheep. Everyone had vines. Everyone ate olives. Everyone used olive oil. But today, if one of the kids were here and they heard that I am the vine, we don't have the kids here today, they'll be all here next week for CCD. You'd be like, well, big deal, I don't even know what that's all about. But if you told them about a video game or the internet, maybe it would be different. I think if Jesus came into our own time, he wouldn't be using allegories like the vine and sheep and I'm the gate and the like. He'd definitely be using things that the kids and us could relate to. So what do we do? We still have to follow the words of Jesus, but what we have to do is look at it and kind of translate things a little bit. Well, having looked up the subject of growing a grapevine, I came with the distinct impression that you really have to know what you're doing. I looked yesterday on the internet because I might grow some grapes in the back. I did in our old house, and they grew very, very well. Using the same methods that my grandfather taught me. Pruning, watering, feeding. And that's what Jesus is telling us in today's gospel. Pruning. We don't like pruning. Oh my God, we hate pruning. What does pruning do? Pruning kind of takes a wild grapevine, and we're all wild grapevines. Left to our own devices, we're a pretty wild bunch. Let's face it, we are wild people. If we don't keep our eyes on Jesus, we get pretty wild. I get pretty wild. It's 2 or 3 days away from church. You know, you're not thinking too much about Jesus. By about Wednesday, I'm not an atheist yet, but I'm getting close, so I need to pray a little bit more. We all go through the same thing, don't we? Right? Everybody does. If anybody tells you they're holy all week long, bring them in. We can name them a saint, make a statue for them, we'll put it in the back somewhere. But it's through daily pruning. All right, what's pruning? Doing something nice maybe for someone. I told you before, always do something for the person that you dislike the most. Find that person. Everyone's got a list. Everyone's got that little list, that little black book. Find that somebody that you really don't like at all. You don't even like how they look. You look at them and you go, oh my God, she's going to talk to me. She's going to say something to me. I gotta get out of here. Look for that person and do something nice for that person. Because when we do that, that's where the grace comes from. Not doing something nice for the people we get along with. That's easy stuff. Jesus tells us that's easy. Anybody can do that. He says the thieves and the robbers do that, don't they? They love one another. Of course they do. They're in the same game. But if we choose people who we don't like, even sometimes things we don't like to do. Oh my God, there's a million things I don't like to do. I'll be honest, you know what the thing I hate to do more than anything? Meeting with, I'm glad they're not here today, meeting with people for weddings. Oh my God. I'd rather do 150 baptisms than a wedding. Nothing against people getting married. I'm for people getting married. But I've had experiences when you're preparing, you guys were great, right? But Michael can tell you, there is such a thing as bridezilla and groomzilla. There is. Oh my God! It's like you go there, and you're at the rehearsal dinner, and just before that you have the rehearsal, and everybody's in a panic, sheer panic. Because it's coming. The next day or the day after that, you're going to have your wedding day. And that's a very, very special day for all of us. One of the sacraments, the sacrament of marriage. But you never know it on that Friday night. Oh my God, the wheels come off, the flowers are going to be late. They don't know whether the corsages are going to be the right ones. And Aunt Edna might not be flying in from Chicago. The flight's probably been canceled. So weddings for me are my thing that I really have to be pruned. God prunes me. Every time I go to a wedding rehearsal, I get pruned. I get one in a couple of weeks, I'll be pruned again on that Friday. And you will be pruned. But it's not a bad thing to be pruned. Because when we are pruned, then we become disciples. We do things we don't necessarily want to do. If we let our kids do everything that they wanted to do, we know how they would end up, right? If we said, well, you can sleep in, it's Sunday, you can sleep in when it's CCD week, then I would bet the older they get, the more they would want to sleep in, right? But if we kind of push ourselves a little bit, and some days, Michael will tell you, I need a push and I only have 15 steps to walk up these steps. But some Sundays, I need a push. I'm tired. We went to a party the night before. I might be a little hungover from the party. I don't feel like maybe getting up here. I'm not in a good mood. I woke up today I'm in a good mood. But I might have woke up on the wrong side of the bed. We all might have a fight with Michael about the music. I don't like that song. Well, it's there and you're going to listen to it. I was arguing with him last week that there was one hymn that was 19 verses. I think I had a birthday waiting for that song to end. So these are the things that we put up with in life. It's not always a bowl of cherries. We know that. We know that. But what is the alternative? In the end, I do enjoy fighting with Michael, I have to admit it. If I didn't have him to fight with, I'd be probably pretty sad. If I didn't have these weddings to do, I'd be out of a job, really, when you think of it. If I didn't have babies to baptize, also out of a job, but I love that. I love that. I truly do. I say that all the time. When a baby comes in to be baptized, that's my absolute favorite sacrament, I must say. I'm supposed to say it's the Eucharist, and it is the Eucharist, because that's the central sacrament of our faith. But baptism for me comes in a good second. Especially knowing that that child is going to be now grafted onto the vine. That vine that's Jesus Christ. So today, what's the moral of all this story? Well, buy a good red on your way home, or white, whatever you like. And think about Jesus. Think about him being that vine. And think about him pruning you each and every week. Don't be afraid of the pruning shears. Yeah, they hurt for a second. But it's well worth it to be a disciple and to be with him forever. That's the name of the game, let's face it. We're only here, so like I say, just about every week. We're here 70 or 80 years if we're lucky. If we are lucky. And the rest of the time, hopefully, we will be with him